My wife told me that she didn't want to adopt my daughter because she doesn't love her like her biological kids. Now she's horrified when my daughter calls her by her name and not mom. I had my daughter at 17. Her bio mom disappeared the second I told her I was keeping the baby. I raised her alone for 7 years before I met Mia at a coffee shop where I was working double shifts just to keep us afloat. Mia was different. She didn't run when I told her about Hannah. She said she wanted to meet her. Their first interaction, Hannah spilled juice all over her shirt, and Mia just laughed and said, "Guess I needed to do laundry anyway." We got married when Hannah was 8. Mia walked her down the aisle as our flower girl. We had 2 more kids together, Emma, who's now 6, and Tyler, who's 4. From the outside, we looked like the perfect blended family. Last month, Hannah came to me sobbing, happy tears. She said she wanted Mia to officially adopt her for her 16th birthday, that she wanted her last name, wanted it to be legal, wanted everyone to know she was her real mom. I was so happy I couldn't breathe. I told Mia that night, expecting her to be thrilled. She smiled and said yes, hugged Hannah the next morning, and told her they'd start the paperwork. But that night, after the kids went to bed, Mia asked to talk. She looked sick. She said she'd been thinking about the adoption all day and she couldn't do it. I asked her what she meant. She said she loved Hannah, but it was different, that she didn't feel the same way about her as she did about Emma and Tyler, that legally adopting her felt wrong because she'd be lying, that it wouldn't be fair to her to have a mom who didn't love her the same way. I felt like I'd been punched. I asked her if she'd been pretending this whole time. She said no, that she cared about her, that she'd always treat her well, but that she wasn't hers, and she couldn't pretend otherwise on legal documents. I told her not to say a word to Hannah, that I'd handle it. I spent 3 days trying to figure out how to tell my daughter that the woman she'd called mom for 8 years didn't actually want to be her mother. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Hannah kept asking me when they were going to the courthouse. I kept making excuses. Then I came home early from work one afternoon. The house was quiet, too quiet. I walked into the kitchen and found Hannah sitting at the table with Mia's phone in her hands, tears streaming down her face. She'd picked it up to answer a call from Mia's brother, but she saw the text thread first. Mia had been venting to her brother. "I don't know how to tell her I can't do this. She's not really mine. I don't want to be legally responsible for someone else's kid. I love my husband, but this is too much." Hannah looked up at me with the most broken expression I've ever seen. She said, "You knew, didn't you? You both knew she didn't want me." I tried to explain, tried to tell her I was going to tell her, that I was trying to protect her. She just shook her head and walked out. That night at dinner, she didn't come down. Mia went to get her. I heard her knock on her door, heard her say, "Hannah, honey, dinner's ready." Her voice came through the door, cold and flat. "Mia, I'm not hungry." She came back downstairs looking confused. The next morning, same thing. "Mia, can you pass the milk?" Emma looked between them worried. Tyler asked why she wasn't calling mommy anymore. Mia tried to talk to her. She sat outside her door and apologized, said she didn't mean what she texted, that she was scared and confused. Hannah opened the door, looked her dead in the eyes, and said, "At least now I know the truth, Mia. It's been 3 weeks. She only calls her Mia now. Won't look at her during meals." Last week, our youngest asked me directly, "Why isn't Mia Hannah's mommy anymore? Does that mean she's not my sister?" I immediately said, "Hannah will always be your sister." Mia's face went white. She finally understood what she'd done, but it gets worse. I found Hannah researching how to legally change her last name to mine. She'd filled out half the forms already. When I asked her about it, she said, "Why would I keep her name if she doesn't want me to have it?" Mia is falling apart. She keeps trying to fix things, buying her gifts she won't accept, trying to start conversations. She shuts down. Yesterday, she broke down crying at the kitchen table, saying she made the biggest mistake of her life. But Hannah told me last night that she's done, that she spent 8 years believing she finally had a real mom, and now she knows it was all conditional, that she'll never trust like that again. I'm looking at divorce lawyers because how do you stay married to someone who broke your daughter's heart like that? Mia keeps asking me what to do. I told her exactly what Hannah told me.